Hi there, QuickBooks experts. I hope all is well, and I pray that as you are viewing this video, that you're in the best of health and spirit. This video will cover Chapter 1 from QuickBooks Online for Accounting, 8th edition by Glenn Owens. So QuickBooks, as you know, is a powerful tool that's used for small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and even large firms. This essentially gives businesses the ability to not have to prepare bookkeeping and accounting tasks manually, but automated through this powerful tool called QuickBooks Online. This is a step up from QuickBooks Desktop. With QuickBooks Desktop, the software was stationed to one computer, so you would physically need to be in the location where QuickBooks Desktop was downloaded. However, with QuickBooks Online, so long as you have internet connection, you can access it from anywhere in the world. So Chapter 1, an introduction to QuickBooks Online using the sample company. So the student learning objectives for Chapter 1 are as follows. Upon completion of this chapter, the student will be able to do the following. Open the sample company provided by Intuit to explore QBO. That is the abbreviation for QuickBooks Online. Access customer, vendor, and employee information. Explore banking transactions. Explore sales and expense transactions. Explore the chart of accounts, explore lists, access reports, and use the gear icon to view company settings. So Intuit has provided a sample company online to provide users with a trust drive of how to use the QuickBooks Online product. So we'll open the sample company and explore various features of QBO. In this chapter, we will view the sample company looking at the customer, vendor, and employee information. We'll also view banking, sales, and expense transactions, and we'll look at the chart of accounts, lists, reports, and company settings. We will not make any changes in this chapter. The key thing is we just want to see the functionality of QuickBooks Online. But where we get to add customers, invoices, checks, and things of that nature, we'll do that in the following chapters. So we begin with the sample company walkthrough. Here it states we can use this sample company to explore QBO as many times as we want. There's no limitation. And no matter what we do to modify the sample company, we'll be unable to save it. And when we leave and later return, it's going to be the same way that it was initially. So again, this is just a sample company. No changes that you make to it are going to be saved. Every time we open a sample company, it's going to retrieve your current system date, which is the actual date you're working on a computer, and it'll place that date under the company name on the home page. So here it walks us through step by step. Step 1, here it states open our internet browser, and it asks us to type in this link, or you can copy it into the browser's address. So we can simply just copy it, and we know, you have these functionalities, so we can just select open the link in a new tab. And once we open the link in a new tab, it says that it should show us here the sample company dashboard as shown in this figure 1.1. The transaction dates might differ throughout the text, but again, the key thing, it's still the same sample company. So here we have the sample company preparing to open up. It wants to verify that we are not a robot. So I am not a robot. All right, so we're going to open this again, test drive company. And I currently have QuickBooks, hence why it's showing this. So I'm going to sign out. And then let's try this again. All right, so here we go. We have the sample company up and running. As mentioned, I personally use QuickBooks in my own profession. I have a tax and accounting firm, and I use QuickBooks for my clients. Hence, you saw LL Taxes and Accounting. So here we are. We see the sample company, Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. So, it looks a little different, but same thing. We see that there are some bills that are overdue. We need to pay a bill in a week. There's several transactions that we need to categorize. Here it's asking us to click the plus new. So it's very important for those of you that are using QuickBooks Online. You need to know how to navigate the program, right? So here we have this dashboard. So here, top left, we see there's 3 lines and with an arrow pointing to the right. So if we click on it, it opens the dashboard. And if we click on it when the arrow is pointing to the left, it collapses the dashboard. So you know how that works. So here it's asking us to click the plus new icon. So we click new. And then we see, similar to what is in figure 1.2, we see customers, vendors, team, and other. So anytime we need to maybe create a new invoice for a customer, a new expense for a vendor, anything of that nature, there's more than one way in which we can do these things. But this is, one of the ways in which you can create new for customers, vendors, team, other, etc. Here it states customers, vendors, and employees. QuickBooks Online provides easy access to customer information using the navigation bar. And in this section, we'll open the customers section in a new tab and drill down to a specific customer and specific transactions related to that customer. So here we go back to the navigation, we click off, and in the navigation, we go to sales, and it wants us to go to customers. And here it's saying if the navigation menu doesn't appear, so here is this navigation menu. If I just showed you, we can expand it and collapse it. So if the navigation menu doesn't appear, you can click the show navigation icon located next to the words sample, and that will essentially reveal and hide the navigation menu. So this is what we showed earlier. So here we see, a list of clients. We have $750 of unbilled income. So that's accrued revenue we've earned. We just didn't get paid as yet. We have some invoices that are overdue. We have some open invoices and credits. And then we also received some payments from our loyal customers. So here it's asking us to click on the Amy's Bird Sanctuary text. So if we click on Amy, it'll take us to her specific account. And here we see that there's currently an open balance of $239. Amy's Bird Sanctuary is overdue $239. So this $239 that's overdue, it's noted at the top of the window, and it correlates to a specific invoice. So if we go down, we see here, this invoice for $459 was partially paid. So therefore, there's a balance due of $239. So to view it, we scroll down to transactions, which we just did. And then again, if we click on it, we can view and we can edit the invoice. So here is the invoice. As pointed out, it's invoice 1021. The invoice date was March 15th. And then we scroll down and it basically shows us the information. So again, that's the amazing thing about QuickBooks Online, because as a business owner, if you don't track the services, the products that you sold to customers, you won't know, hey, this customer owes me $239, right? It makes it so much easier for you as an entrepreneur, a business owner, one less thing for you to think about. So now it's asking us to access the vendor information. So to do that, we go back to our navigation, we select expenses, and now we go to vendors. So once we go to our vendors, these are essentially the individuals that we purchase things from, either services or products, in order to, allow our business to function and to earn revenue. So here we see we have a purchase order, we have some money that's overdue, we have a few open bills, and it's asking us to click on the Brush-Nahan Insurance Agency. So we click on it, and it shows us the same thing. Much like we want to keep track of the customers that owe us, we also want to keep track of the businesses that we owe. Hence, with the expense feature for the vendors, we can also track the bills that are owed and due to our vendors. So here it's asking us to click on the bill for $241. So if we click on it, and we see we owe money to Brush-Nahan. All right, wrong one. All right, there we go. So it shows that we owe. And the great thing with QuickBooks, we have the option, we can even pay them right through the software. So we could schedule an online payment, or let's say we mail the check, we can mark it as paid. So again, this is an amazing tool to help to keep businesses in check, because you need a proper accounting system in place. And QuickBooks Online just streamlines the process and makes things much easier. So next we move on to accessing employee information. So we clicked off of the bill already. Now it's asking us to go to payroll, and we go to employees to reveal an employee listing as shown in figure 1.9. So here it's not showing us. Let's see. All right, it's not showing us our employees. Let's see if there's another way for us to access the page. Figure employees. All right, so this seems to be down. Maybe it's something going on with QuickBooks. All right, so we shall follow along with the book. This is what employees should look like. And again, we're not making any changes. It's just to give you guys insight into how you would access employees. Right now, it seems as though the URL is not working as it should, but this is essentially where you would find employees. So those that basically, you are paying them on an hourly rate or a salary. And then contractors would basically be those independent contractors for which you are just paying them the gross amount. They are responsible for their own taxes. So if we wanted to edit, here we see we have Emily Platt and we have John Johnson. So similar to the bill and similar to the accounts receivable that we saw previously, we would click on it, and then we would have the option to edit if needed. So here's saying click edit for John Johnson, and then we would basically just see the information. We'll see the first and the last name, the name to print on checks, the email, phone number, mobile number, as well as the address. So that's essentially what we would see. Here it's asking us to sign out to close the sample company, but we want to, look at the banking information. So it's asking us to sign out, then sign back in. But since we're using the same company, we're not going to do that. So here it states QuickBooks Online has an online banking feature that allows you to automatically connect your bank and download banking related transactions. The application automatically matches the banking transaction with the previously recorded QBO transaction, and QBO calls this recognizing. This feature is briefly reviewed as this test, obviously, it's academically based and there's no real bank account that's going to be linked. But again, the key thing is when you are in the profession, those companies that actually use this is linked to their checking account, their savings account. Maybe they have a money market account. Maybe they have a line of credit cards, and things of that nature. Depending on the company, you might just see one bank account connected. You might see several bank accounts and credit cards connected. It really ultimately all depends on the company. So to view the banking transactions, we do the following. We already have our internet browser open. We are already in the sample company, so we bypass steps 1 and 2. And I already clicked on transactions in the navigation pane. We clicked on bank transactions, and here we are. So we see we have a checking account and we have a savings account. And then there's also a MasterCard, which is a credit card. So it's asking us to scroll down the checking page to see the banking transactions. So if we scroll down, we see here there's some uncategorized income. So what that basically means is that money was deposited into the business, and we need to verify, is this income? Maybe the company borrowed money, or maybe the owners, the investors, they invested money into the corporation. Because as we know, if we look back to the basics, the fundamentals of accounting, there's 3 reasons why, or we can even say 4 reasons why money is being deposited into a company. The first is that they earned revenue. The business either provided a service or sold a product. 2, the owners, the investors, the shareholders, they invested money into the company. 3, maybe it's a liability, right? Maybe the company borrowed money. Or the last one would be like a refund. You bought something from the store and you took it back. Once you take it back, the company from which you purchased the item or the service, they are putting money back into the account. So When the QuickBooks cannot readily determine, hey, where is this money coming from, or why is the money being deposited into the business, generally it'll be categorized as uncategorized income until you figure it out. The same thing as it relates to uncut categorized expenses. When money is leaving the business, it'll be leaving essentially for three reasons. Either you are purchasing an asset, something that would provide the company with future value, like an asset, dividends, or owners distributions. This is when money is leaving the business and it is going to the owners, the shareholders, and lastly, expenses. This is essentially where the business is spending money to generate revenue. So those are the reasons. So again, once QuickBooks Online cannot readily determine, hey, I'm not sure what this A rental is for, they will automatically deem it uncategorized income or uncategorized expense. And that is where you now will go in and manually update it based on conversations with your client, or maybe you already, have a great understanding of the nature of their business. So now here it says scroll back up to the check-in page, go to the bank register on the right. So here it says go to the bank register. So this is where we get the opportunity to view the traditional checking account register listing each QBO recorded check, deposit, or cash transaction. So here we see credit card credit, cash purses, check, deposit. So it lets us know here the type of transaction. So here it says bank deposits that have not been recorded in QBO, obviously they're not recognized or they're temporarily classified as uncategorized income. So they're basically still in the bank feed. And the same thing, bank charges that have not been recorded in QuickBooks Online are not recognized and they're temporarily classified as uncategorized expenses. So the bank register, as we see in figure 1.13, it's similar to the general ledger account concept seen in traditional accounting with debits and credits. When we think to our T accounts, we know in accounting, debit means left and credit means right. The balance is shown after every increase or decrease in the account. And in the bank account, increases are deposits and decreases are payments. So this goes back to the fundamentals of bookkeeping, right? You need to understand, how do I increase a debit account? How do I increase a credit, or how do I increase an asset account? So we have assets, we have liabilities, we have dividends and common stock. If we are dealing with a corporation, or owners distributions and owners investments, and we have revenue and expenses. So it is of the utmost important to understand the nuances, the logic, the fundamental basics of bookkeeping, because as powerful as QuickBooks Online is, if you do not understand the basics of accounting, you're going to struggle using the software, because garbage in, garbage out. So next we move on to sales and expense transactions. So the next two choices in the navigation bar are sales and expense transactions. The sales transactions section provides a listing of recent sales invoices and payments. Some are closed, some are open, meaning that the payment has not yet been received. So the action item of receiving a payment is listed for all open invoices, and the screen also highlights any unbilled activity, open balances, overdue balances, and any invoices paid in the last 30 days across the top. So if we click on sales, and it's asking us to go to all sales, and we see a similar screen. We see we have some unbilled income, some overdue invoices, and it's asking us to click on invoice number 1036. So from Freeman Sporting, we click on it. We go to the invoice, and it's showing us the amount, right? So here it's saying, a balance due of $477.50. So now we know, hey, we need to reach out to Sasha, Freeman Sporting Goods, because we need our $478, okay? So next we go to expenses. And again, this is what our vendors, where we owe people money. So in this case, we go to our expenses, and it's asking us to click on Pam Seats. So expense number 76, we see, hey, whoa, we owe Pam Seats $75. So the same way we want our customers to pay us is the same way we need to pay our vendors. So next we move on to settings again. Right now we are just going through the basics of the functionality of how to utilize QuickBooks Online. And in the following chapters, that's when we get the opportunity to actually create bills, to create expenses, to pay checks, and things of that nature. So the settings window is also known as the gear window, and it's accessed by clicking the gear icon. So as we see here, it shows us what the gear icon is. It kind of looks like a little bolt. So we click on that, that's our gear icon. And again, it's located in the upper right portion of the QuickBooks Online window. And here we have the opportunity to modify company settings, products, services, and budgets, as well as reconcile bank accounts. So we click on the gear icon, which we just did. Now it's asking us to click on accounting settings to view the company's name, type, address, etc. So here we see the company name, we see the type of company, the contact information, address. Obviously, this is just the sample company, so not everything is completed. But for your company, your clients that you're going to work with, this information will be set up. The usage, there's also sales, there's expenses. So there's some, creative things that you can do. Maybe you want the preferred invoice term to not be 30 days. Maybe you don't want to wait, 30 days for your client to pay you. Maybe you make it net 15. They have to pay you within 15 days. Or maybe you want payment on receipt. Once they receive the invoice, you want to get paid, right? So you have the opportunity to update it and customize it based on your client's needs. Next, we move on to the chart of accounts. As you know, a chart of accounts is a listing of all accounts available. Each account is assigned a type and a detailed type. The sample company's chart of accounts has been modified from the default chart of accounts and tailored to the company's needs, because one thing I love is pizza. There's an amazing pizza restaurant called Two Bros, and there's cash only. So a company like Two Bros, where they only accept cash, they would not have an accounts receivable because they do not accept IOUs for slices of pizza. It's a brick and mortar. They don't have delivery. To my knowledge, they don't have a truck. So they wouldn't have a truck asset listed in their chart of accounts because they don't have a truck. So when it comes to the chart of accounts, it's tailored based on the specific needs of the company. So we click the gear icon, and we can go to chart of accounts, and just keep in mind there is more than one way to access the chart of account. So if we go back to our navigation bar, if we go to transactions, we can also access the chart of accounts here if we wanted. And let's say you weren't watching this video, if you go to the search bar, the magnifying glass, chart of accounts. So there's multiple ways to do the same thing in QuickBooks Online. So we look for our chart of accounts. So these are just different ways, so that way how to navigate in the system. So we'll follow along to the textbook gear icon. We click on the chart of accounts. It'll lead us to the same place. And here we are. It shows us our accounts and our balances. So here we see QuickBooks has a balance of $1,201, and the bank balance has a balance of $3,621.93. And the reason why there's a difference, if we go back to our bank transactions, we see that there are some deposits and some expenses that have not yet been accounted for. Hence, there's a difference. So we go back to the chart of accounts, and it's asking us to scroll down. So as we scroll down, we see the different types. We see, there's a checking account, there's assets, we have credit cards, which is a liability, we have equity, we have revenue and expenses, etc. So as we scroll down, it's asking us to see if there's a balance in the chart of accounts for accounts payable, as we see here, for $1,602.67. And it states to click the register, or click view register, which we click. And then here we see the register and why it's showing a balance of $1,602.67. So we go back to our chart of accounts. It's asking us to scroll down to see that each revenue and expense account has a run report action. So when we're dealing with our assets, our liabilities, and owner's equity, we see view register. And when we are dealing with our revenue and expenses, we see run report. So it's asking us to click the run report on the landscaping services account. So we scroll down, we get to our revenue. Here we see landscaping. We select run report. All right, we put since 90 days ago. So here it's showing us since 90 days ago, this is how much money we made. Landscaping services, fountains and gardening, plants and soil, etc. So it's showing us all of the income we earn. And the great thing with the chart of accounts is that we can clearly determine which income statement is going to be impacted. So here we see BAL. this account type shows on a balance sheet in P&L, these accounts are going to be reflected on the balance sheet. So we move on to lists. Lists in QuickBooks Online provide us with an easy and quick way to view a collection of common items. Some of the more common lists include the chart of accounts, products, services, and terms. And we can view a summary of all of the lists that are available in QuickBooks Online and explore the list of the terms. So it's asking us to click the gear icon, and then it's asking us to click on all lists. So we see, similar to figure 1.23, and here it's asking us to click on terms. And again, these are the options as mentioned earlier. You can update it based on a client's needs. So when we issue the invoice, I want my money right away. Like they say, it's my money and I want it now. So we can do that, do on receipt. We can say, hey, you know what? I'll give a bit of grace to my client. Net 10, pay me within 10 days, you can get a discount. Pay me within 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, you get a discount. So these things can be updated again, and it's ultimately based on the needs of the client. So you can do it for chart of accounts, recurring transactions that happen each month. Let's say like a Verizon phone bill, we have a flat rate of $50 each month. That's a recurring transaction. It's happening each month at a set price on a set day. That's a recurring transaction. Products and services, product categories. So there's a plethora of different lists that are generated. Next, we move on to reports. So we go back to our navigation bar, reports, and we have standard reports, we have custom reports, and we have management reports. So we click on standard reports, and then if we click on favorites, these are the reports that are generally run the most. So, and then you can also add to your favorites. If you just, highlight it or put the star, you basically make this one of your favorite reports pretty much. So if we scroll down, we see business overview. And then we see under the business overview, it's also one of our favorites. We can click on the profit and loss. And then we click on a profit and loss, and we need to scroll down. So we scroll down. And then it's asking us to click collapse. So if we collapse it, it'll look a little bit like this. It collapses the screens. And then obviously, if you want to expand, we select the arrow facing right. So that's one of the ways in which we can do it. To collapse or to expand it. And here we see, this is how much money they're making. Obviously, we will update the dates accordingly because we know the profit and loss is, it hosts the temporary accounts, and we can show our profit and loss for a specific period of time. So whether it's a month, whether it's a year, etc. So if we go back to the reports, balance sheet, on the other hand, hosts our permanent accounts, and this is as of a period of time. So it tracks all of the increases and decreases in specific accounts since the inception of the business. So we have the balance sheet, and then we have the statement of cash flows that basically, just shows the money coming in, money going out. So everything cash related, we're basically tracking the nuances, and then we're actually breaking it down: operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So we'll have the opportunity to go through all of these different statements. And one quick thing here, it says alternatively, we can easily find a report if we know its name or part of its name. So if we go back to the standards report, we can just type it in. So profit and loss, balance sheet. All right. So we can type these things in right here, and it can also help us to find the report. So to find a report related to accounts receivable, we can do the following. We can type it in, accounts receivable. All right. And we have the accounts receivable aging summary and the accounts receivable aging detail. All right. So we move on to the company settings. So with company settings, there's 5 tabs in the settings. So we saw this previously. We go to our gear icon, we click on accounts and settings. And then again, we have company, usage, sales, expenses, time, and advance. So time, here we see the first day of the work week, Monday. For some companies, it might be Sunday. For some companies, it might be another day. So we have the opportunity to update these. If we click on the expenses, here we see bills and expenses. We show items table on expenses in the purchases form. Do we want to show tag fields on expenses? So obviously, it ultimately depends on the client. As you are working in a QuickBooks file, every QuickBooks file is different. You tailor it to the specific needs of the customer. And if we click on the advanced tab, what's the first month of the fiscal year? Not every business is on a calendar year. A calendar year, as we know, is January 1st to December 31st. A fiscal year is basically any other 12-month period. So when you think of fiscal year, think of it as birthday to birthday. My birthday is July 19th. So from July 19th to July 19th, I am now 1 year older. So calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. A fiscal year is any other 12-month period. Think of it as birthday to birthday. Then we have the company type, and that ultimately depends. If it is a sole proprietorship, then we know we're going to file Schedule C. If it is an S corporation, we're going to file Form 1120S. If it is a C corporation, we are going to file Form 1120. All right, partnership, Form 1065. Really all depends. Some clients, they want to have account numbers. Some don't. They just want to see the name. So again, these account settings allow you to tailor the QuickBooks Online file to the specific client and their needs. So we click Done. And this brings us to the end of chapter 1. So in this chapter, we've used Intuit's sample company to practice navigating QuickBooks Online, so we should have a better understanding of how to use the navigation bar, of how to access the gear icon. We've accessed customer, vendor, and employee information, which gave us a little bit of trouble, but you know how to get there. We viewed various transactions, viewed the chart of accounts, lists, reports, and company settings. In chapter 2, that's where you're going to accept the invitation to work on a case. And in chapter 3, we're going to use Wild Water Sports Company to learn how to modify settings, the chart of accounts, beginning balances, and products and services. And in chapters 4 through 10, that's where we're going to use Wild Water Sports Company to learn how to add operating, investing, and financing activities, reconcile a bank account, create budgets, add adjusting entries, and prepare financial statements and reports. So this brings us to the end of chapter 1 for QuickBooks Online Accounting 2025.